Part 31. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Ching Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 301. Chapter 301 Business Card. Jiao said softly, "You don't have to be so polite. You can just call me Ningxun. Chu Yanyi and I are friends, so it's appropriate to treat his grandfather." Mr. Chu stroked his beard and said with a smile, "Okay, then I'll listen to Ningxun." Mr. Shen asked Mr. Chu, "This child also cured your disease?" Mr. Chu, "Yes, she is very powerful. She can treat things that cannot be cured in the hospital." Mr. Shen stroked his beard and said, "It's true. Today's young people are really amazing." Suo Jinggu heard the commotion and came over, and happened to hear what they said. "I didn't expect that my son's friend would be such a powerful person." Suo Jing martial arts, "Old Chu, old Shen, is it true that she cured all your illnesses? You can heal illnesses and tell fortunes. Are you still a normal person?" Mr. Shen nodded, "Yes, it's her. I won't admit it." He had also investigated Jiao Ningxun's true identity before, and also investigated Chu Yanyi's car, and knew that Jiao Ningxun took Chu Yanyi's car back and forth to his home. But when they investigated Chu Yanyi, his people couldn't find anything. Continuing the investigation will definitely affect the relationship between Shen and Chu's family, so he can only give up. "I didn't expect to meet you here." Suo Jinggu looked at Jiao Ningxun. He didn't know why, but this child gave him a very comfortable feeling. Yan Jiaxi from a distance also saw the situation here and asked Dr. Shen, "Shen Qinglan, Mr. Shen's illness was actually cured by Jiao Ningxun?" Shen Qinglan touched his head, "I don't know either. I only know that my uncle suddenly recovered from his illness one day. I asked him who cured him, and he said he didn't know either. He just said he found it on the internet. There was a person named Chang Sheng who pretended to be treating a disease. I sent her a message online, saying that I wanted to treat a disease, but she replied that I was not sick and asked me not to test her. I was shocked. For a long time." Yan Jiaxi looked at Jiao Ningxun with a complicated face. Jiao Ningxun's whole body is full of secrets. Principal Yao from the number 1 middle school also came. He walked up to Jiao Ningxun with a smile and introduced her, "Everyone, let me introduce you to her. She is a student from class 8, grade 2, grade 1, number 1 middle school. Jiao Ningxun, who just came to us some time ago. Won the Nanjing City Girls High School 800-meter running championship for number 1 middle school. The female high school running champion in Nanjing City." For a time, some people looked at Jiao Ningxun with even more admiration. At this time, Shen Yuman suddenly said, "Miss Suo, now you know why your elder brother invited her. If such a capable person were in my family and it was too late to provide for her, how could he be like you and rush to offend her? Can you guarantee, you will never get sick in your life?" Even if it was Miss Suo who dared to ridicule her grandfather's benefactor, she would still do it. Suo Xingxin's face turned pale. Recently, her heart was throbbing in pain every night, and the pain made it difficult for her to fall asleep every time. If she hadn't offended Jiao Ningxun, could she have asked Jiao Ningxun to treat her so that she wouldn't have to suffer in the future? The young lady suddenly said in surprise, "Oh, the bruises under your eyes are very serious. You probably haven't rested recently. Is there really something wrong with you?" Suo Xingxin was startled and looked at Jiao Ningxun sinisterly. Even if she died, she would not let Jiao Ningxun treat her. Suo Hongfeng didn't give Suo Xingxin any face, and shouted loudly, "Suo Xingxin, I think you have forgotten what I said to you and have come to offend my guest again. Go back to your room now without me. You are not allowed to leave the room without your father's permission." Suo Xingxin's body trembled when she was yelled at, her eyes turned red instantly, and she looked at Suo Jinggu aggrievedly. with the eldest brothers shouting at her in front of so many people. It was so disrespectful to her. After today, will people in the upper class still take her seriously? Seeing that Suo Xingxin was so aggrieved, the elders present did not speak for her. If you speak for her now, aren't you going against Jiaoningsun? They can't guarantee that they won't get sick that cannot be cured by the hospital in the future. Suo Jingguo ignored Suo Xingxin. Even though he really liked her when she was a child, for so many years, she only knew how to get into trouble. Now that she is 16, she is not sensible at all, which makes him worried. His liking for her is really getting less and less day by day. As soon as Suo Hongfeng appeared on the stage, he immediately attracted the attention of many girls. Some people who like Suo Hongfeng also wanted to have a good relationship with Suo Xingxin and started to smooth things over. Master Suo, your sister is still young, please forgive her this time. If she cannot attend her father's birthday party, it will be a lifelong regret for her. Yeah, she's not that old, so it's normal for her to be ignorant. Let's teach her more in the future. Children today are all rebellious, but they will become more sensible when they get older. Suo Hongfeng said nothing. Seeing his adopted daughter crying with tears streaming down her face, Suo Jingguo frowned and said, "Okay, today is your father's and my birthday. As a daughter, what do you look like crying here? Go wash your face quickly, otherwise you will really don't come out." Suo Xingxin sobbed, nodded, and went to clean herself up. After she left, many people gathered around Jiaoningsun, wanting to ask her about some of her family members' illnesses. Although some people are not sick, if they can know the miracle doctor, they will not rush to the doctor when they get sick in the future, and they can save their lives at critical moments. After all, no matter how rich they are, they will still get sick. Jiaoningsun saw that she was about to take over the spotlight, so she quickly sent each of them a business card and asked them to add her WeChat account if they had anything to do, and they could contact her online in the future. However, she also agreed in advance that she would not treat the diseases that the hospital could cure. The people here are all rich, so she won't limit the amount of money for them. Those people got her contact information and let her go. Some people were a little disappointed when they heard about her treatment conditions. Gao Yongxiu came with the Shen family this time. Looking at Jiaoningsun from a distance, her face twisted with jealousy. Unexpectedly, the person who asked her to pay the money at the police station was actually such a person. When she was at the police station, her clothes were very ordinary. But the dress she wore today could be seen at a glance to be much more expensive than anything she was wearing. After Jiaoningsun waited for everyone around to disperse, he opened the prepared gift box from He Yuanhua's hand and said, "Mr. Suo, I wish you a happy birthday. Time is in a hurry and I have no preparation. I got this ginseng by chance. Please give me some advice. Accept it?" Suo Jingguo smiled and said, "Come here as soon as you come. You kid, you are too polite." He said this, but he still took a few steps, glanced forward, and was suddenly stunned. End of this chapter. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Chen. Chapter 302. Yanjiaxi suddenly stepped forward. This ginseng seems to be a century-old ginseng, and it is also a century-old ginseng that is of excellent quality. As a doctor, even if he is a Western medicine doctor, he still has a lot of research on Chinese medicinal materials. In today's China, wild ginseng is very valuable. 100-year-old ginseng is worth hundreds of thousands to several million depending on its condition. The ginseng in front of me is of high quality and extremely valuable. In the current Huaxia kingdom, it is worth at least 2 million. Mr. Shen and Mr. Chu were immediately envious. 100-year-old ginseng is very rare. It can save lives in critical moments and cannot be bought with money. Suo Jing martial arts, Miss Jiao, this gift is too valuable for me to accept. You should take it back. Jiaoningsun didn't take it seriously, It's nothing. I don't just have this one, I've also prepared it for my family, so you don't have to mind. Some time ago, she found ginseng in the mountains and directly gave birth to them. If she wasn't afraid of being too high profile, she could just take out the 10,000-year-old ginseng. What? She still has century-old ginseng in her hand? Everyone's eyes suddenly became very hot. None of them have one, but this girl actually has more than one in her hand. Just now Suo Xingxin mocked others for their low status. If she were still there, her face would probably be swollen. Hearing this, Suo Jingguo did not refuse, and he would give an equally valuable gift in return. It's better to obey orders than to be respectful, so thank you very much. Steward Li immediately stepped forward to take it. Qiao Ningxun smiled and said, "You're welcome." There was no excitement here and the crowd dispersed quickly. Although the old men wanted to talk to Qiao Ningxun, they also knew that young people did not like to stay with the elderly all the time, so they could only let the juniors accompany her. One of the purposes of people attending such banquets is not just to attend the banquet, but also to expand their connections. Qiao Ningxun and her cousin went to bring some food and came to a sofa. Shen Yuman also came to her side. Qiao Ningxun didn't dislike her very much, so he asked her to follow him. Shen Yuman said with admiration, "Sister Qiao, can I call you this?" Qiao Ningxun smiled and said, "Sister Shen, you're welcome. From now on, you can call me Ningxun. You are older than me, so it is normal to call me this way." Shen Yuman nodded, "Yeah, then I'm not polite." "Ningxun, who taught you your medical skills? Why are they so good? I'm really grateful to you. If it weren't for you, my grandfather would be here now. I don't know what's going on. My family's company will definitely be greatly affected." "Qiao Ningxun, I learned my medical skills by myself. I accidentally got an ancient medical book, so I followed it." "Self-taught," Shen Yuman said in shock, "then you are really amazing. The principal of number 1 middle school even said just now that you are a running champion and that you are really good at literature and martial arts." "Qiao Ningxun, that's a big award." Shen Yuman saw Gao Yongxiu not far away and called her, "Yongxiu, I'm here. Come and sit. I'll introduce you to a new friend." Gao Yongxiu's hand stiffened when she answered the phone in the distance. She had been paying attention to Qiao Ningxun's situation, and of course she knew who the new friend she was talking about was. Although she was reluctant, she didn't want to offend Shen Yuman, so she had no choice but to walk over. Gao Yongxiu came to Qiao Ningxun, looking generous and decent. "Yuman, you don't need to introduce me, I know who this lady is." Shen Yuman was stunned. "Do you know Miss Qiao?" Gao Yongxiu nodded and turned to look at Qiao Ningxun. "Miss Qiao, we meet again. I'm really sorry for what happened last time." Shen Yuman asked, "Yun Shui, between you?" Gao Yongxiu was about to speak, and Qiao Ningxun spoke first. "This is what happened last time, that's it. This Miss Gao and her friends caused my cousin to be disfigured." Shen Yuman frowned. "Yongxiu, are you still hanging out with those people? Although those people are rich, they are all nouveau riche and playboys. If you stay with them, you will destroy yourself sooner or later." Gao Yongxiu hurriedly said, "Yuman, don't get me wrong. I haven't met them since the last incident. You know that I have been with you whenever I have time during this period." Shen Yuman breathed a sigh of relief. "That's right." Qiao Ningxun suddenly stood up and said, "Cousin, let's go find some delicious food." "Huny, okay, cousin." Seeing the two of them leaving together, Gao Yongxiu suddenly sat next to Shen Yuman and began to apply eye drops. "Yuman, that Qiao Ningxun is not a good person at all. When she was at the police station, she was so aggressive. I'm still scared. Don't get too close to her." Shen Yuman said, "Really? But I think she did the right thing. Her cousin was disfigured, so there should be no one who can calm down. and I think 200,000 is too little, and it's not. Do you know if it's enough to pay for the child's plastic surgery? Gao Yongxue curled her lips. Don't Jiaoningsun have medical skills herself? Maybe she has helped her cousin restore her appearance. She knows medical skills herself, and she asked for 200,000 for her cousin. This is blackmail. You can't say that Shen Qingxue came over suddenly, and he also heard their conversation. You have disfigured someone else's cousin, and of course you have to pay for the treatment. Jiaoningsun and you are not related. Why should you treat your cousin by yourself and deal with the aftermath for you? No matter who her cousin seeks treatment, you should compensate her. Gao Yongxue stiffened and said with a smile, yes, I was just talking casually. Damn it, why are you talking to Jiaoningsun one after another? What's so good about her is that so many people support her just because she has medical skills. Suo Xingxin, who was not far away, saw Gao Yongxue's expression and smiled coldly in her heart. Jiaoningsun, it seems I'm not the only one who doesn't like you. Soon after, the guests had almost arrived, and the dinner officially began. As a popular star, Suo Hongfeng attracted the attention of many people as soon as he came on stage. Today is his father's birthday, so it couldn't be better for him to host it. Jiaoningsun looked at the sparkling Suo Hongfeng and felt a little envious of Suo Xingxin for a moment. She is so envious of having such a handsome and capable brother. It would be great if she also had such a biological brother. But it's actually not bad with my cousin and younger brother around. Turning around to see where my cousin was, he was no longer there. Jiaoningsun's heart tightened, she counted on her fingers, and quickly walked towards the garden. One person at the banquet kept his eyes on her. When he saw her leaving, he followed her. When he arrived at the garden, Jiaoningsun heard a sound in the distance and approached lightly. Are you really he Yuanhui? I am, you are. The man said excitedly, I am He Lifei, and I am your biological father. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 303. He Yuanhui was startled and said in astonishment, are you He Lifei? Why did this person suddenly appear? He Lifei frowned and said, I am your biological father, how can you call me by my name casually? He Yuanhui came back to his senses, looked at him dressed in a suit, and said coldly, since you are so rich, you can attend the Suo family's birthday party, and now you claim to be my biological father, then why did you get along with me in the first place? My mother is divorced, why don't I pay her alimony? Don't worry about your mother and I, He Lifei said, you can see that I dress decently, but I'm actually just an assistant to the boss now. I can come here today only because of the boss. Otherwise, with me how could I get in here with my identity? Between your mother and me, she was the one who proposed the divorce, and I just followed her wishes. When your mother and I separated, I had no money, how could I give her child support? He Yuanhui was angry. When my mother came home, she told her grandparents in person that you were the one who cheated on her, domestically abused her, and tried to beat my eldest brother and me several times, forcing her to divorce. Now it's her fault, you just bullied her into not being there, so you can just throw dirty water on her. He Lifei frowned, you don't believe her, she is mentally ill. He Yuanhui clenched his fists, I don't allow you to slander my mother casually. You are the one who is crazy. Seeing that his son was angry, He Lifei thought that he still had something to ask him for, so he softened his tone and said, okay, it's my fault, okay. He Yuanhui unclenched his fist and said impatiently, I don't have time to listen to your nonsense here. Let me ask you, where is my mother? Your mother, Hilife was stunned. Didn't your mother take you and your brother back to your hometown? He Yuan whose pupils shrank. After my mother got divorced, she took me and my eldest brother back to my grandparents' house and left. Didn't she go find you? Hilife looked innocent. No, I haven't seen her since the divorce. He Yuan said with red eyes, you didn't lie to me. If he didn't go to Hilife, where else could he go? Why haven't you come back to see him after so many years? My cousin said that she cannot calculate all the information about people who are related to her. For the time being, we can only calculate that his mother is still alive. Had his cousin not told him in advance that his mother was still alive, he would have suspected that this man had killed his mother. Seeing that his son, who was taller than him, was so angry and looked like he was going to beat him, Hilife flattered him and said, no, really not. If I lie to you, I will die badly. I will be struck by lightning. Is that okay? He Yuan stared at Hilife for a long time, then suddenly turned around and saw Qiaoningsun behind him. Seeing this, Hilife walked up to Qiaoningsun with a smile and said with a flattering look on his face, you are Qiaoningsun, right? Do you remember me? I am your uncle. I gave you lucky money during the new year when you were a child. Your parents, is everything okay? He Yuan rolled his eyes at him. He had heard about giving lucky money back then, so he still dared to mention it? New Year's money, Qiaoningsun asked expressionlessly. I heard from my mother that you gave me a piece of New Year's money, and then you deliberately approached me and took the New Year's money from my bag. Hilife's face stiffened and he quickly explained, no. No, are you saying that my mother lied to me? She is just lying to you, Qiaoningsun sneered. I believe you. Don't say you are my uncle in the future. You and my aunt are divorced and we have no relationship. Cousin, let's go. Okay, cousin. Hilife quickly stopped in front of the two of them and said anxiously, Ningsun, I know what I did was unkind, and I apologize to you. But after all, I am your cousin's biological father, and we can be considered relative. I want to ask you something, and I hope you can help me. Qiaoningsun frowned. What's the matter? Hilife hurriedly said, my son now has leukemia. It is already in the advanced stage. The doctor said it cannot be cured. He is now waiting to die in the hospital. Your medical skills are so good. I want to ask you to help me save my son. I just such a child, no, my current wife and I have just such a child. He had already given up. After all, he still had two biological sons, He Yuan Yang and He Yuan Y, so it didn't matter if one of them died. When he gets old, he can still look to them for support. But thinking that if Tim He Yuan dies, his relationship with his current wife will definitely be affected. Maybe his current wife will kick him out of the house. He finally managed to marry such a rich wife, but he didn't want to be kicked out. He Yuan said coldly, you don't even consider me your son in your heart. How dare you beg my cousin? Do you take yourself too seriously? Hilife said, I know I owe you and your eldest brother. Let's do this. As long as Qiaoningsun helps me heal my son, then I can give you and your eldest brother 100,000 yuan each. He Yuan, one person only needs 100,000. Haha, Mr. He, you really gave me a lot. Seeing He Yuan laughing at him, Hilife explained, 100,000 for each person is 200,000. You should be in high school now. This 200,000 is enough for you to graduate from high school and college. He Yuan asked, that child is the child of the mistress whom you cheated on and made my mother sad to divorce. Hilife hesitated for a moment and nodded, but the child is innocent. He is also your biological brother. You can't just ignore him. It's not cheating on my part. Your mother and I didn't have any feelings at that time. We already planned to. I'm divorced. Since I'm getting divorced, of course I can find another one. The doctor said that Tim Hyun only has 1 month to live. Because of the chemotherapy, all his hair fell out and his body was skinny. He is extremely pitiful. Poor, Hyun roared, he is pitiful, isn't my eldest brother pitiful? Do you know that when my mother left us two behind, my eldest brother also got leukemia, and my second aunt and grandparents, I borrowed money from the whole village but couldn't raise enough money. Second aunt called you to borrow money. What did you say on the phone? She said that she was divorced and the child was with my mother, so it was not your child. You had no obligation to give money. You also said that if you didn't have money, you would give me money. My eldest brother is left to his own devices. My second aunt said on the phone that if you are not good to the child will not support you in the future. What did you say again? You said that you don't need me and my eldest brother to take care of us in the future, so you won't care about us. If it weren't for the good luck of the elder brother and the help of kind-hearted people, he would be dead now. My eldest brother has suffered all the sufferings Hyun has suffered, and my eldest brother was younger than Hyun when he got leukemia, so he suffered no less than him. You have never seen him once. End of this chapter. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Ching Jue Chen. Chapter 304. You are now asking my cousin to treat your son for the sake of your mistress's child. How can there be such a shameless person like you in the world? At this time, Suo Hongfeng's speech had ended, and people came out one after another to take a breath. After all, there are a lot of food placed in the garden for guests to enjoy. Hearing the commotion here, everyone couldn't help but come over to watch the excitement. Seeing that there were more and more people around him, Li Fei felt very embarrassed and said, "Don't yell, this is our family matter. Let's find a quiet place to talk." Hyun, I won't go. If you dare to say it, don't be afraid of others hearing me. As he spoke, he glanced at the onlookers, not afraid that his family affairs would be known, and said loudly, "Everyone, this man in front of me is my biological father who abandoned me when I was a child. That's what happened. He was so kind to my eldest brother. Cruel, he can be cruel and refuse to save him. How can he have the nerve to ask my cousin to save his son now?" The onlookers were extremely surprised. How can there be such a vicious father in this world? Some people couldn't help but whisper, "This kind of person is too disgusting. I hate people who abandon their wives and children the most. They haven't raised their children for many years, and they haven't provided them with living expenses. When they ask for help from their children, they stick to them. Their skin is thicker than cowhide. That is, if I were abandoned by my biological father, I would definitely want him to die to save Xiaosin's son. Don't even think about it." There were wealthy nobles around him. When Li Fei saw that they were all blaming him, he rolled his eyes and suddenly knelt down towards Hyun. He didn't believe it. With so many people watching, his biological father knelt down for his son. How could the son not help him? "I kneel down for you, please. My son really only has 1 month left. I know that I did something wrong when I was young, but we are all ordinary people and will make mistakes. I can make up for it in the future. I just ask you to agree to this request of mine. I will do whatever you ask me to do from now on." Hyun and the people around him were shocked at the same time. Just when Hyun didn't know what to do, Jiaoningsun suddenly said something to him. Hyun suddenly rolled his eyes and fainted. Li Fei was stunned for a moment. Could he still operate like this? He could only stand up. Jiaoningsun stepped forward and felt his pulse, then turned to look at Suo Hongfeng. "Brother Suo, my cousin was so angry that he fainted." Suo Hongfeng immediately understood what she meant. "Steward Li, quickly carry the man to the guest room and let him rest." Steward Li immediately ordered people to do it. After Hyun was carried away, Li Fei also wanted to follow him. It's hard to meet people, but I don't know where I'll be next time I see you again. Chiao Ningxun stopped in front of He Lifei and said, Mr. He, I've been stunned by your anger, so you don't have to go anymore. After all, I am the one who can cure the disease, not him. He Lifei whispered, if you don't want me to pester him in the future, then treat my son, otherwise I won't let him go. Chiao Ningxun, you won't let him go? Tell me how you won't let him go. He Lifei gritted his teeth and said, I will go to his school every day and tell his teachers and classmates what a hard-hearted person he is. And he Yuan Yang, he is in his senior year of high school now. If I go to him every day, or when he is taking the college entrance examination, will he still be able to study? Can he still successfully complete the college entrance examination? Will you get into college? Chiao Ningxun mocked, you think you can do what you want? This is a legal society. If you dare to harass them, I will call the police and arrest you. You think you can only take advantage of my cousin, I can do it too. You have a job now, and I can also go to your company to make trouble, let the whole company know what kind of person you are, and make you lose your job. You married your current wife, didn't you just do it to have a good job? Also, if he Yuan Tian dies, you will only have 2 children, my cousin and my cousin. If you dare to harass them, I will send them abroad and you will not be found in this life. And your son He Yuan Tian, he must have done a lot of bad things this year. He Lifei's pupils shrank, you, how do you know? Chiao Ningxun sneered, if you want others to know, you have to do nothing yourself. To tell you the truth, I can tell fortunes. Everything you have done since childhood, and everything He Yuan Tian has done since childhood, I also know. He Lifei was startled, thought for a while, and then said, I beg you, as long as you are willing to treat my son, I will agree to it no matter how much it costs. Chiao Ningxun, this matter is not negotiable. Although she loves money, she finds money from people like this dirty. He Lifei knelt down to Chiao Ningxun again. Chiao Ningxun stood aside again, not facing He Lifei's kneeling head on, and said in a cold voice, stop pestering me here, I won't listen to you, otherwise how can I face my grandparents? My aunt. He Lifei refused to give up, please. Chiao Ningxun couldn't bear it anymore, how can I save him? He is a criminal, and he is only on parole for medical treatment because he has leukemia. Do you want me to save him, and then let him go to harm others after he is released from prison? Originally, she didn't want to tell the story. She didn't want her cousin to be talked about in the future, saying that they had a criminal brother. He Lifei's body stiffened. Chu Yanyi asked very cooperatively, Ningxun, you said his son is a criminal? What is going on? Chiao Ningxun, his son fell in love with a girl this year. The girl didn't like him, so he scratched the girl's face and set fire to kill the girl and her family. Fortunately, there was someone in the family in the middle of the night. Get up, put out the fire in time, and avoid disaster, otherwise the consequences will be disastrous. It was precisely because of this that he was imprisoned. Not long after he was imprisoned, he developed leukemia. He could apply for medical parole and go to the hospital for treatment. He Lifei's face turned pale, how do you know these things so clearly? After saying this, his expression changed. When he asked this question, wasn't he admitting in disguise that his son had indeed done those things? Chiao Ningxun sneered, I told you, I can tell fortunes. Most people were dumbfounded. That Tim He Yuan is too cruel. Originally, I thought that there are no good people and bad people in front of doctors. As long as they are patients, they should be saved. But when I think that if I save him, he will definitely do evil after he is released from prison, I feel scared for those victims. If I were Miss Chiao, I wouldn't save him. Now if I can't win a girl's heart, I have to kill someone. If I save him, he will definitely continue to do evil and harm others in the future. That's right, even God can't stand it now, so I want to take him in. If Miss Jiao saved him, and he committed murder and arson in the future, the victim would definitely blame Miss Jiao. Why did he save that trouble? End of chapter. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 305. Chapter 305. Is there still room for her? That's right, Miss Jiao, it's best not to save Tim He, otherwise there will definitely be more victims in the future. Mr. Lu suddenly came to He Lifei's side, frowned and said, "Okay, hurry up, you and I are here on behalf of the company today, you are shameless, and the company is still shameless." He Lifei had no choice but to stand up. "Mr. Lu, hurry up and leave. Your son is notoriously bad. Who dares to save him?" He Lifei said with a bitter face, "Mr. Lu, I just want to try my best. No matter how bad he is still my biological son. Mr. Lu, didn't you see what happened just now? The people from the Suo family told me just now that if you don't leave, I will go with you." If He Lifei hadn't been kind to him, based on what happened today, he would have fired him long ago. He Lifei glared at Jiaoningsun resentfully and had no choice but to leave. "Jiaoningsun, if you don't make it easy for me, I won't make it easy for you either." The crowd dispersed quickly. After a while, someone came to inform me that the dinner party had officially begun and you could take your seat. Jiaoningsun also went to the guest room to ask He Yuanhui to eat. As soon as He Yuanhui arrived in the guest room, he woke up and sat on the sofa. He always thought that his mother left him to find his biological father. But unexpectedly, she didn't go to him. Then where will his mother be now? He Yuanhui heard the knock on the door and quickly went over to open it. Jiaoningsun saw her cousin's face full of sorrow and said with relief, "Don't worry, my aunt will come back sooner or later." He Yuanhui nodded. He Lifei has been driven away and the banquet has begun. Let's go eat. Good. Jiaoningsun said as he walked, "Cousin, don't take He Lifei seriously. Even if you beg me, I can't save He Yuan. Judging from the attitude of everyone just standing on my side, even if it doesn't matter if you don't save him." He Yuanhui looked apologetic, "Cousin, I'm sorry, it's all me who has caused trouble for you. If He Yuan is really dead, He Lifei will definitely cause you trouble in the future." "It's okay." Jiaoningsun looked unconcerned, "If he dares to come, I will send him to prison." He Yuanhui was instantly relieved when he thought of his cousin's mysterious ability. The two of them went to the banquet soon. The Suo family is indeed one of the richest families, and the food they prepare is very luxurious. Not to mention them, even the rich and nobles ate with gusto. When Jiaoningsun was almost done eating, he said to He Yuanhui, "I'll go for convenience. Can you do it alone?" He Yuanhui nodded, "Okay, don't worry." Jiaoningsun gave him a few more instructions, asked the servant where the bathroom was, and left. A person in the distance saw Jiaoningsun leaving and quickly followed him. After a while, Jiaoningsun opened the bathroom door and saw Suo Xingxin outside. Jiaoningsun raised her eyebrows and said, "Miss Suo, do you have anything to do with me?" Suo Xingxin had a gloomy look on her face. "I'm telling you, stay away from my eldest brother. If you want to enter the Suo family's door, you can't even come in without my nodding." Jiaoningsun frowned, "Huh? Is this the door where I can enter Suo's house? What nonsense is this person thinking about? Stop pretending." Suo Xingxin mocked, "Isn't it because a person of your background is pestering my eldest brother because my eldest brother is the eldest son of the Suo family and the heir to the Suo family? He is the most ideal person in the eyes of the wealthy family. A good candidate for son-in-law, many girls like him. Let me tell you, you are just an ordinary person who grew up in the countryside and was abandoned by his father. A poor guy like you will never marry my eldest brother in this life. I advise you to give up." Jiaoningsun frowned, "Who wants to marry Suo Hongfeng?" She is only 16 years old now, and Suo Hongfeng is already in his 20s. She has never thought that there is a possibility between them, okay. She approached Suo Hongfeng because of you, Suo Xingxin. Qiao Ningxun was a little helpless. When he saw Suo Xingxin's eyes, he counted his fingers and showed a playful smile. Suo Xingxin didn't see Qiao Ningxun's frustration as she imagined, and was a little disappointed. She frowned and said, "Why are you laughing? Are you stupid? I'm scolding you for not being worthy of my elder brother. Do you understand?" Qiao Ningxun raised her eyebrows and said, "Of course I understand, but I just think what you said is very funny." Suo Xingxin was furious, clenched her fists, and raised her voice involuntarily. "You actually said what I said was funny? Are you laughing at me?" Qiao Ningxun said quietly, "Yeah, it's quite funny. I'm just your eldest brother's partner. He hired me and I helped him solve his problems, so I got closer to him. People who don't know what you look like may think that you are your eldest brother's fiancé, driving away the women around him to prevent them from threatening your status." Suo Xingxin's face turned red when she heard the word fiancé. If she hadn't been only 16 years old now, she would have expressed her feelings to her eldest brother, or she would have become a fiancé. Qiao Ningxun raised his eyebrows when he saw Suo Xingxin's face. She was indeed right. This man had different thoughts about his elder brother. It seems that she already knows that she is not the biological daughter of the Suo family. Suo Xingxin was a little flustered. What are you talking about?" Qiao Ningxun smiled and said, "I'm not talking nonsense. Don't you already know that you are not the biological daughter of the Suo family? Since she is not the biological daughter, it is okay for you to covet your eldest brother. After all, there is no blood relationship." Suo Xingxin's face turned pale, with shock on her face, and she stammered, You actually know about this? How, you know?" After finishing speaking, she looked around and saw that no one was passing by. Everyone should be eating at the table now, and she suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. If other people knew about this, she would definitely have a hard time. After all, she used to rely on her status as the only daughter of the Suo family to dominate. And if word of this gets out, those partners of the Suo family will definitely spare no effort to help find that person in order to please the Suo family. With so many people looking for it together, they will surely be found soon. If that person comes back, will there be room for her in the Suo family? Qiao Ningxun took some time off and said, "I can tell fortunes. I figured them all out. I told your elder brother last time, including where you were adopted from and what you did when you were a child. Only you and your elder brother know about it. It's precisely because I said everything right that your elder brother trusts me." Suo Xingxin trembled all over, and said in a trembling voice, "You can tell fortunes? How can you tell fortunes? Aren't fortune-tellings all lies?" Qiao Ningxun mocked, "Do you think that things you don't believe are all lies? Then I will prove it to you. Your heart hurts for 4 hours every night, and you are rolling in bed in pain. It's been a long time since I had a full night's sleep, right?" End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen. Chapter 306. Suo Xingxin's pupils shrank. Only she knew about this, and she had not told anyone else. She had gone to the hospital for examination before, but nothing wrong was found. She didn't dare to tell her eldest brother. After all, if the Suo family's future daughter-in-law had a hidden disease that would affect the continuation of the family line, even if her eldest brother agreed to marry her, her father would definitely not agree. Suo Xingxin swallowed in fear. This person was really terrible. He could even figure out such a private matter. Then if she finds that person in the future and wants to kill that person, wouldn't this person be able to be easily figured out as well? If her father and eldest brother knew about it, they would definitely not forgive her. What should she do? What should she do? Xiao Ningxun is the bomb next to her, which will blow her soul away and make her irrecoverable. Xiao Ningxun smiled lightly and said, "It doesn't matter if you don't answer me. Your silence has proved that I am right. You just said that I am a poor man. To tell you the truth, your eldest brother earns 1 million a month. Hire me on salary." As she spoke, she smiled mockingly. "You said, if that person comes back, you will definitely be kicked out. By then, between the two of us, who will be the poor guy?" Suo Xingxin trembled. She would be a poor person by then. This person is so powerful, could it be said that she actually already knows where the child is? 1 million, is the eldest brother crazy? Aren't fortune-telling and other things all lies? Even if it is right, it is just a coincidence. Suo Xingxin's eyes moved anxiously, and she suddenly thought of something and said solemnly, "Miss Jiao, we had some misunderstandings before. I apologize to you and hope you can forgive me." As she spoke, she bowed solemnly to Xiao Ningxun. Xiao Ningxun raised his eyebrows. "What do you want to do again?" Suo Xingxin straightened up suddenly. "You must have figured out where my father's biological child is, right?" Xiao Ningxun, "So what if we figured it out?" Suo Xingxin approached Xiao Ningxun and suggested in a low voice, "Let's make a deal. I'll give you 5 million, and you tell me that person's address." Xiao Ningxun frowned. "I told you, are you going to kill people and silence them?" Suo Xingxin looked like she had been convinced, but she quickly concealed her emotions. "Of course not, after all, they are relatives of my father and eldest brother. How could I hurt that person? I just want to find that person first, man. Let that person think that he can come back thanks to me, so that he will think of me well, and maybe he will help convince my father and brother to let me stay in the Suo family." Xiao Ningxun sneered, deliberately irritating her. "I believe you. I'm warning you, behave honestly in the future, and if I find you doing evil again, I will publicize your true identity and tell you to get out. Come out of Suo's house." "You." Suo Xingxin was so angry that her orifices were filled with smoke. Seeing Xiao Ningxun turning around and walking away, her head got hot and she took out the knife she had prepared and stabbed Xiao Ningxun in the back. As soon as Chu Yanyi and Suo Hongfeng walked over, they saw this horrifying scene. Xiao Ningxun pretended not to know the specific situation behind him and greeted the two of them easily. "Chu Yanyi, brother Suo." Chu Yanyi didn't think too much, stepped forward and grabbed Suo Xingxin's wrist, and pushed it back hard. Suo Xingxin's back hit the wall so hard that she squatted on the ground in pain. Xiao Ningxun turned his head and raised the corner of his mouth when he saw this. "Sure enough, I am still young, so it is so easy to fall into the trap." Chu Yanyi asked with concern, "How are you? Are you injured?" Xiao Ningxun shook his head with fear. "No." Suo Hongfeng walked up to Suo Xingxin with a sullen face and said with a disappointed look on his face, "Suo Xingxin, it is really my fault that you are allowed to attend my father's birthday banquet today. The worst decision ever. How could you be so ignorant and do such an evil thing?" Suo Xingxin squatted on the ground, saw her elder brother blaming herself, and said aggrievedly, "Brother, I was wrong." "Suo Hongfeng, do you know how much impact it will have on the Suo family if the news about you hurting others is spread today? The Suo family has raised you for more than 10 years. Is this how you repay the Suo family?" "I didn't want to either." Suo Xingxin said loudly. "Xiao Ningxun really went too far. She threatened me, and I couldn't get angry at the moment, so I almost did something wrong." Chu Yanyi suddenly spoke. "She threatened you? Can her identity threaten you? Did you do something bad and she unintentionally caught you?" Suo Xingxin was about to say it, but suddenly stopped. If she threatens Xiaoningsun now that she is not the daughter of the Suo family, and there are so many guests today, her true identity will be exposed sooner or later. Suo Hongfeng said coldly, "Tell me, what did she threaten you with?" Suo Xingxin's anxious forehead was covered with sweat. After thinking for a long time, she finally came up with the reason. She threatened me with not working for my eldest brother, saying that if I get close to my eldest brother Chu again, I won't help him work. Xiaoningsun said with a speechless face, "Your eldest brother and I have signed a formal contract. If I don't work for no reason, then I will have to pay 10 million liquidated damages. Do you think I am a fool? Do you? Is your elder brother a fool? You are so childish, are you only 3 years old?" Suo Xingxin became even more angry. She stood up and was about to rush forward and stab Xiaoningsun again. Suo Hongfeng quickly grasped Suo Xingxin's wrist, snatched the knife from her hand, and said in a deep voice, "Suo Xingxin, you dare to kill someone in front of me, who gave you the courage?" Suo Xingxin shrank her neck and immediately took a few steps back. Suo Hongfeng turned his head and said solemnly, "Ning Xuan, let me say sorry to you on behalf of my sister. Don't worry, I will give you an explanation so that she can't hurt you again in the future." Xiaoningsun didn't want to give people an aggressive attitude, so he said with a generous look, "It's okay, brother Suo, I know. I just embarrassed Miss Suo in front of everyone. It's normal for her to hold a grudge against me. Your family please handle it yourself." Suo Hongfeng said, "Then you go back to eat first, I will take care of it here." Xiaoningsun, "Okay. Chu Yanyi, I'll send you there." After the two of them left, Suo Hongfeng asked his servant to invite Suo Jingguo to the study and inform him of what happened here. When Suo Jingguo arrived at the study, he had already heard the servant explain the process. As soon as Suo Jingguo opened the door, he saw Suo Xingxin kneeling on the ground. Seeing her father coming, Suo Xian cried and said, "Father, I was wrong. I will never dare to do it again. Please forgive me this time." Suo Jingguo looked at his son, "Where is the knife?" Suo Hongfeng handed it to him. Suo Jingguo looked at the knife carefully and glared at Suo Xingxin, "Who gave you the idea of hurting people at home?" "Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible." Author, Qing Chen Chen. Chapter 307. Suo Xian was delighted to see his father so angry, so he shrank his neck and said, It was from my friends before." "Suo Jingguo, have you ever met those people?" "Suo Xingxin, they only met me once at the school while I didn't go out with them." Suo Jingguo sneered and unceremoniously exposed the thoughts of those people. "I think those people know that you have no money, so they don't ask you to go out for anything. Those people are also stupid. Even if Suo Xingxin has no money temporarily, she grew up in Suo's family after all. A skinny camel is bigger than a horse. I don't understand such a simple truth." Suo Xingxin choked. At first she thought that her friends were different from wealthy young masters and ladies, but she didn't expect that they all had the same virtues. After knowing that she had no money, he actually didn't call her for anything. "Even if I go to her, I'm going to borrow money from her." As soon as she said she had no money, those people looked at her with disdain and left. Some people even thought that they would never be able to make any money from her in the future, so they simply broke the pot and ridiculed her directly. They said that they were with her because she was rich and the eldest daughter of the Suo family. Because with her, they could eat all the things they could never eat in their lives and go to places they could never go in their lives. Place to play. Only she is so stupid to believe that they treat her sincerely. Without money, she is worse than a wild dog on the roadside. Seeing her silence, Suo Jingguo asked again, "Where did you get this knife?" "Suo Xingxin, I stole it from the kitchen." Suo Jingguo was furious, "You are so angry with me that you are actually a thief at home." If I don't educate you, you can kill outsiders today, but you may kill me and your eldest brother tomorrow. Does the father mean to punish her? Are you going to kick her out of the house? Suo Xingxin hurriedly denied, you are my father and eldest brother. No matter how bad I am, there is no way I can deal with you. Suo Jingguo said coldly, everyone can say good things. I warned you last time not to make any more mistakes or make me angry again. As your father, you don't regard me as your father at all. If I keep you in the country any longer, you will definitely cause greater trouble and bring huge trouble to the Suo family and the Sox group. I will let you drop out of school and arrange for you to go abroad. I will make arrangements for you in school. Living expenses will be fixed for you every month, but it's impossible to eat delicious food like at home, but you won't starve to death. I will find someone to watch you. If you study well and graduate successfully, I can let you return to China. But if you continue to cause trouble, no one abroad will deal with the consequences for you. If you get into trouble again, after you turn 18, I will really kick you out of the house, publish it in the newspaper and sever the father-daughter relationship with you. I will not give you living expenses, and will only let you fend for yourself abroad. If abandoning Suo Xingxin now would affect the reputation of Suo Xingxin, he would really want to kick her out of the house. No, if Suo Xingxin's biological parents can be found and she is handed over to her biological parents, that might be a solution. Suo Xingxin was startled. Does she want to live alone in a foreign country? No, it cannot be done. She can't guarantee that she won't get into trouble again, and she will definitely never come back. No. Suo Xingxin knelt down at Suo Jingguo's feet and cried, Dad, don't let me go abroad. I'm afraid. I'm not yet a minor. Are you going to throw me abroad alone? I promise I will be obedient in the future. I will do whatever you ask me to do. Can you forgive me this time? Suo Jingguo turned his head and ignored her. Seeing this, Suo Xingxin had no choice but to ask Suo Hongfeng, brother, please advise my father. You love me the most. You definitely don't want to see me end up like that, right? Suo Hongfeng sighed and said, Xingxin, what I like is the cute, kind, and sensible you when I was a child, not the you who kills people at every turn now. With your personality, you said, if you had a sister like you would. Can you tolerate her? Can you forgive her? Suo Xingxin choked and then said, brother, please forgive me for the last time, okay? Impossible, Suo Jingguo said angrily, I have given you too many opportunities, and your elder brother has also given you too many opportunities. I have dealt with you countless times since you were a child. I really feel a little tired. Suo Xingxin, let me tell you the truth, you are not my biological daughter, you were just adopted from the orphanage. Back then, your eldest brother really wanted to have a sister after his mother died. I didn't want to get a wife, so I brought you back. Suo Xingxin clenched her fists and had tears in her eyes, but her father actually said it anyway. Suo Jingguo saw that there was not much shock on Suo Xingxin's face, and frowned, you know everything. Suo Hongfeng said, Father, I'm sorry, she heard it the last time I talked to you. Suo Xingxin cried and said, yes, I know. Qiao Ningxun just threatened me with my identity and said that she would publicize my identity. I was panicked for a moment, so I killed her. I just don't want to lose you, I just care about you too much. Suo Hongfeng asked, why does she use your identity to threaten you? Suo Xingxin was startled and fell silent again. At this moment, Butler Li walked in with a servant. Sir, when Xiao Zhu passed by just now, he heard something said by Miss Jiao and the eldest lady. Do you want to listen? Suo Xingxin turned pale. It's over. She's probably really done today. Suo Jingguo, Xiao Zhu, tell me. Xiao Zhu roughly recounted what the two said. After hearing this, the father and son became even more angry. Suo Jingguo gritted his teeth, You actually asked Miss Jiao to calculate the location of the child so that you could kill him? 5 million? You are so generous. Do you have so much money in your hand now? Suo Hongfeng, that's someone who is related to me by blood. Why are you so cruel? And you said Jiao Ningxun threatened you? She just wanted to protect the child, otherwise she would really ask you to kill the child. Suo Xingxin was desperate, and now it was useless for her to say anything. Suo Jingguo said coldly, it seems that I have underestimated you. At such a young age, in order to achieve the goal, you will do whatever it takes, which is outrageous. I take back my decision to let you go abroad. Suo Xin was delighted. Great, she can stay in the country. Suo Jing martial arts, I will not let you go abroad, harm other people, and bring shame to China. Suo Xingxin choked, is she that vicious? Suo Jingguo continued, I will find your biological parents, terminate the adoption relationship with you, and let you return to your biological parents. I can't teach you, so I can only let them teach you. End of this chapter. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 308. Suo Xingxin's eyes darkened. Those who can send her to an orphanage either favor sons over daughters, or their family conditions are poor and they cannot afford to support her. If she returns to her biological parents, will she still have a good life? Suo Hongfeng also said, this is indeed the only way. Suo Xingxin came back to her senses and begged, Father, brother, I was wrong, I was really wrong. After all, I have been your daughter for more than 10 years, and you have loved and cherished me since childhood. Do you have the heart to let me go back to my biological parents' home and suffer? What if their family is in the mountains? What if their family still doesn't have enough food and clothing? Do you want to watch me die? Suo Jingguo looked indifferent, you brought this on yourself. Suo Xingxin was desperate. Thinking of living such a miserable life, she might as well die now. She suddenly stood up from the ground, ran to the window, and jumped out without hesitation. Although this is the 4th floor, it is very high. If you jump off, you will not die but will be injured. Suo Jingguo and Suo Hongfeng reached out to catch her, but she was determined to die and their speed was too fast to save her in time. Suo Jingguo looked at the situation at the window and frowned, asked the servants to seal off the scene and not allow guests to pass. If anyone asks, just say that our dog accidentally fell from the 2nd floor. Suo Hongfeng nodded and went to do it quickly. Fortunately, the garden behind the study is not open to guests today, and few servants pass by there, so the news can definitely be blocked. I don't know why, but they don't feel too sad about Suo Xingxin's actions. Perhaps, their hearts have been broken by her and have become numb. Or maybe, there was a garden down there, and they knew she wouldn't die if she jumped. He Yuanhui suddenly saw many servants whispering to each other, and some of them looked very solemn, and asked, Cousin, why do I feel that something is wrong with the servants of the Suo family, as if something big has happened to the Suo family? Can you figure it out? What happened at home? Jiao Ningxun counted with her fingers and whispered about Suo Xingxin. He Yuanhui, then should we go? Jiao Ningxun, well, it's almost time. I just saw people leaving one after another. Let's go too. Good. Suo Hongfeng heard that they were leaving and personally sent them to the car. As for Suo Xingxin, she has been secretly sent to the hospital. In the car, He Yuanhui asked, Cousin, will that Suo Xingxin die? Jiao Ningxun said, no, it will just make me crippled. It will be difficult to stand up. He Yuanhui snorted, she brought it upon herself. She actually wants to kill you. It's just that she's disabled, so it's easier for her. Jiao Ningxun, yes, it's an advantage for her. But it would be good to make her suffer for a while. The next day, 8 o'clock in the morning. Suo Hongfeng received the call and listened to the other party's report. After a while, Suo Jingguo saw that his son had hung up the phone and asked, "Did you call from the hospital?" Suo Hongfeng nodded. "Well, Suo Xingxin's hands and feet are broken. When she jumped, her face was scratched by sharp objects in the garden and her face was disfigured. She is still unconscious. The doctor said she can't wake up. Even if she wakes up, it's easy to recover her hand, but it's very difficult to stand up again, and even if she can, it will take a lot of pain." Suo Jingguo sighed and said, "This is something she brought upon herself. She is still young and does not understand that it is better to die than to live. For the sake of father and daughter, let the hospital do its best to treat them. When they wake up, notify," I said. Suo Hongfeng nodded. "Okay. Today is October 7th, and the long holiday is almost over." Chiao Ningxun and He Yuanhui prepared their luggage for school in the afternoon. Early in the morning, Chiao Kongsheng suddenly yelled downstairs, "Get out of here!" The two siblings were shocked at the same time. They could hear Chiao Kongsheng's powerful roar upstairs, and they could imagine how loud his voice was. The two of them rushed downstairs quickly. Yuan Deshan saw Chiao Ningxun coming down and glared at Chiao Kongsheng. "I won't tell you, I will tell my daughter." Chiao Ningxun said expressionlessly, "If you have anything to say, just say it." He Yuanhui was confused. He thought it was He Li who had flown over. Yuan Deshan wanted to walk in front of Chiao Ningxun. He Yuanhui saw this and stood between them. Yuan Deshan had no choice but to take a step back and suddenly became miserable and cried, "Ningxun, I know I was really bad to you before, but no matter what, I didn't let you starve to death, so you are safe now. Return to your mother. I don't have a job now, so I rely on your grandma's pension, and my life is really hard. The money I was defrauded from selling my house before has not been recovered yet. I don't have any money, but your stepmother gave birth to a child early. The child's monthly treatment costs tens of thousands of yuan, and it's still in the incubator. I really don't have any money. Ningxun, that child is also your brother after all. Please consider that he is still a baby and that he is my only son. Please lend me some money to save him." Chiao Ningxun raised her eyebrows and said, "Is that child a son?" Yes. Yuan Deshan was very happy when he mentioned his son. "I never thought that my infertility could be cured, nor did I think that I would have a son. Ningxun, in order to prevent my Yuan family from, please lend me some money." Ye Kaixiang was very unhappy when she saw Yuan Deshan's appearance. "That's your son, go and save it yourself, don't come looking for my granddaughter. My granddaughter's surname is Chiao, and she is just a child born from her mother's sperm, and you her son is not related by blood at all, so don't try to kidnap her morally. What's the use of having a son? If you are not filial, there is no use having three. Of her 4 sons, only one was filial." Yuan Deshan looked a little ugly when he heard about using to give birth to a child. It was simply a history of humiliation for him. In order to have a child and prove to outsiders that he can have children, he actually went so far as to let his wife use other people's sperm to give birth to a child. Yuan Deshan frowned and said, "There is no need to talk about the past." As he said that, he looked at Chiao Ningxun. "You should know very well how I treated you before I divorced your mother. I hugged you, stood up for you, helped you teach the children who bullied you, and I spent a lot of money to support you and support you in high school. Chiao Ningxun, are you planning to ask me to pay you back and then use the money to buy out our relationship from now on?" "No, of course not," Yuan Deshan hurriedly denied. People in the village also called him a few days ago and said that Lao Chiao's family now has 4 cars, 2 of which are luxury cars. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 309. Chapter 309. Show off your wife every day and cuckold yourself? How could he cut off his relationship with such a wealthy daughter? Chiao Ningxun raised his eyebrows and said, seeing that you have indeed spent money on me before, I will kindly tell you to do a paternity test with your so-called son. After doing it, you should not need to borrow money. Everyone was stunned at the same time. She means that Yuan Deshan's child is not his biological child. Ren Jingjing cuckolded him. Yuan Deshan's face darkened. Chiao Ningxun, can you speak? Do you think you are not my biological child, and that Ren Jingjing's child was hers? That child must be my child. My infertility has been cured. I still have the hospital examination report at home. Chiao Ningxun raised her eyebrows. I'm just telling the truth. Don't think that because I'm young, I don't understand anything. Then let me be blunt, Ren Jingjing's child is not yours at all, but her ex-boyfriend's. After she was with you, she still met her ex-boyfriend occasionally. Have you ever heard of the saying that money can make a difference? Yuan Deshan's body was shaking with anger. No. Impossible, it's impossible for Jingjing to lie to me. That child must be mine. Your grandma said that her son looks exactly like me when I was a child. Yakaxiang looked like she was watching a good show. Children are very similar when they are first born. My 6 children were not the same when they were first born, but now look at them, are they exactly the same? Please say a few nice words, old man. If so, you really take it seriously. Lin Kuiwa, who came to watch the excitement, also said, yes, if adults see babies and say some compliments, it is because they want to give face to the parents of the children and want to make the parents happy, that is, they are just polite words. But, always some people take kind words as truth. Yuan Deshan was startled and clenched his hands into fists, looking like he couldn't believe it. If the child is really not his, wouldn't it become a big joke in the future if he showed it off everywhere? What he shows off every day is other people's children. Showing off your wife every day and cuckolding yourself? If others find out, he will have no shame as a human being and will have no choice but to die. Yuan Deshan asked excitedly, when did you know that the child was not mine? How did you know? Chiao Ningxun said quietly, I've known it for a long time. As for how I knew it, I won't tell you. Yuan Deshan was almost angry to death. Since you already knew it, why didn't you tell me earlier? Why didn't you tell me until the child was born? If you had told me earlier, I wouldn't have to spend so much money on her. Chiao Kongsheng frowned and said, don't be ungrateful. How did you and Ren Jingjing abuse Ningxun before? How did you give up on her when you were in the hospital? Why didn't you pay her medical bills? Do you want me to tell you again? Since Ningxun was discharged from the hospital, you have come to her several times to ask for money, regardless of whether she is still studying. You are so hateful to Ningxun, why should Ningxun treat you well? Are you worthy? Ningxun didn't wait until you spent a huge amount of medical expenses on your child before telling you, which is already considered kind. Yakaxiang also said, that's right, go back and get your paternity test done. You don't deserve a penny of my Ningxun's money. Yuan Deshan hated and gritted his teeth, but at this time, Lao Chiao's family was numerous and powerful. If they didn't come up with money, he had no choice but to leave in despair. Back at the hospital, Yuan Deshan walked into the ward angrily and shouted loudly, Ren Jingjing, tell me, whose child is it? Ren Jingjing, who was on the phone, quickly hung up the phone and asked blankly, what did you say? Yuan Deshan saw that she was very guilty, so he quickly stepped forward to grab the phone before she could lock the screen, and opened the call history. When I saw the word predecessor, I felt like I was struck by lightning. Chiao Ningxun is really right? Yuan Deshan almost died of anger when he thought that he had spent so much money on this to protect her child. He said angrily, Ren Jingjing, you actually cuckolded me and wanted me to raise your ex's child for you. You are really kind. Calculate. Ren Jingjing's face turned pale. She tried to calm down, and said softly, "Husband, who have you listened to other people's gossip? My child is yours. Your mother said that the child is very much like you. Your mother will never lie." "You." "I don't believe it," Yuan Deshan said excitedly. "The child is still so young, what can he tell? My mother just said that on purpose, just to make me happy. Tell me, who does that child belong to?" "The child is still in the incubator and has not yet returned to his mother. He has to take his hair for a paternity test, which is still a bit troublesome." Ren Jingjing said, "It's yours." Yuan Deshan said with a gloomy face, "Then what phone call did you make to your ex?" Ren Jingjing, I was just showing off to him. He and I did not break up peacefully. We broke up almost 10 years ago. He is not married yet, and I have already given birth to a child. I think I am better than him." Yuan Deshan still didn't believe her, so he picked up the phone and dialed his ex. Ren Jingjing's face turned pale and she stepped forward to grab it. It's just that Yuan Deshan is a man after all. How could Ren Jingjing, a woman who had just given birth to a child, be able to rob him? Yuan Deshan just pushed her gently and she fell heavily on the bed. At this moment, the phone call came through. "X, hey, baby, what's wrong? Is there something wrong with our child?" Ren Jingjing's eyes darkened. "It's over, everything is over. The first sentence says something bad, but it's about our children." Seeing that Ren Jingjing was silent, her ex continued, "Hey, is the signal not good there? I just forgot to tell you something. You must give our baby the best medicine, food, clothing, housing, and transportation, the best, no matter what, he is our son. Anyway, you don't have to feel too bad because Yuan Deshan is the one paying for it. I am still holding the money you gave me before and I am still in the entrepreneurial stage. I don't have much money now. When my career starts and my income becomes stable, I will bring you mother and son back and let you live a good life." "Hey, baby, did you hear what I said? Hey, hey." Yuan Deshan suddenly spoke up and said gloomily, "You have no chance to use my money. You bitch, you dare to seduce my woman and cuckold me. Where are you? I'm going to kill you." The person on the other end hung up the phone instantly. Yuan Deshan asked with a sinister look on his face, "Ren Jingjing, tell me, where does this live?" How could Ren Jingjing say that? With Yuan Deshan's temper, it is really possible to kill her predecessor. End of this chapter. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 310. In that case, wouldn't her child have no father and she would have no one to support her? I don't know, I haven't seen him since I got pregnant. Yuan Deshan sneered, "You mean, you got pregnant after the last time you were close to him, and you were afraid of being suspected by me, so you didn't meet again?" Ren Jingjing. Isn't Yuan Deshan stupid? Why are you so smart at this time? Yuan Deshan said coldly, "If you don't say anything, I will kill your son first and then you. Do you want to decide whether you, mother and son, should live, or let him live?" Ren Jingjing was startled and trembled, You can't do this, they are all innocent." Yuan Deshan asked, "Are they innocent? Do I deserve to be cuckolded by you?" Ren Jingjing choked and then said, "Didn't you accept Jiao Shulan's use of to give birth to a child before? In this case, why can't you accept my child? And I gave birth to a son. He is not your son's business. Only the three of us know that as long as you treat him well in the future, we can live happily together as a family. In this way, outsiders will never talk about your inability to have children, and you can let his surname be Yuan and inherit your Yuan family name." "Ah!" Yuan Deshan sneered, "You are really good at making calculations. When I work hard to raise the child, you too will run away with the child. I spent money and gave him fatherly love, but in the end I was beaten with a bamboo basket. All water is gone. Ren Jingjing was silent. Why did Yuan Deshan react so quickly today? Let me ask you again, where is that bitch? Ren Jingjing didn't dare to say. It seems that you are going to protect him, then I will kill that now. After Yuan Deshan finished speaking, he was about to leave the ward door. Ren Jingjing's face suddenly changed and she said anxiously, I tell you, don't kill my son. Yuan Deshan turned his head and said, tell me where he is. Ren Jingjing had no choice but to tell her ex's specific address. Yuan Deshan turned around and left. Upon seeing this, Ren Jingjing dragged her tired body out of bed and quickly went to the doctor's office. What, you want your child to be transferred to another hospital? That's right. This is not possible at the moment. The child is very weak and his vital signs are unstable, so he does not meet the transfer requirements. If you force the transfer to another hospital, given your child's current condition, it is very likely that something will happen on the way to the hospital. Ren Jingjing suddenly became desperate. Transferring the child to another hospital will cause the child to die on the road. If he does not transfer to another hospital, he will most likely be killed by Yuan Deshan. It doesn't matter if you leave, or if you stay. What should she do? Ren Jingjing's eyes suddenly brightened. If Yuan Deshan died, their family would be safe. She hurried back to the ward to look for her mobile phone, but she couldn't find it after looking for it for a long time. When Yuan Deshan left, he did not return the phone to her at all. Her mobile phone was bought by Yuan Deshan. Yuan Deshan was too stingy. Now he is so angry that he even wants to take the mobile phone back. There was no other way. She couldn't remember her ex's phone number, and she was still very weak. She could only wait anxiously in the ward for news. After Yuan Deshan left the ward, he quickly took a taxi to the location of Ren Jingjing's predecessor. He saw a group of people talking in front of him, took out Ren Jingjing's mobile phone, and called his ex again. The person in front saw the phone ringing again. When he saw the caller ID, he felt as if he had seen a ghost and wanted to hang up the phone anxiously. Without having to think about it, he knew that it was Yuan Deshan who took Ren Jingjing's phone number and called him. I don't know what happened today. He pressed it for a long time but didn't press it. Suddenly, the light in front of him dimmed. The man looked up and before he could see clearly who the person in front of him was, he felt a sharp pain in his stomach and fell backwards. The people around him took a few steps back when they saw such a terrifying scene. Some cowardly people began to scream, "Kill people, kill people." Some people ran away immediately and then called the police. Some brave people are preparing to approach Yuan Deshan quietly and want to hold him down first. Yuan Deshan suddenly stepped forward, pointed his knife at the crowd several times, and said with a red-eyed look, "Don't come over, I will kill anyone who comes over. I killed someone, right, but who asked him to cuckold me? He actually seduced my wife and made her pregnant with his child. I served my wife with good food and drink, but because she was pregnant, I sold my house, just to buy her a house, but what happened? I was defrauded of all the money I paid for the house, and I didn't get a penny back. While my wife was pregnant, I was unemployed and worked hard at the construction site. I was so tired that I couldn't straighten my waist every day, just to keep my wife well nourished. After the child was born, he was born prematurely. In order to raise money for his medical expenses, I borrowed money from people everywhere. I didn't expect it." At this point, Yuan Deshan had tears streaming down his face, and suddenly looked at the person lying on the ground sinisterly. "My wife's child actually belongs to this person. This person just called me and asked my wife spend my money hard and he will leave with my wife and kids in the end. You think, can I forgive such a person? Can I not think of killing him?" An old man said, "But you have sacrificed your whole life for doing this. If you go to jail or be executed for this kind of scum, your family will suffer the most. It's not worth it. Yuan Deshan closed his eyes and said, "You are right. If I die and this person is still alive, he will definitely be reunited with his wife and children and live a happy life." After saying that, he stepped forward again and gave Ren Jingjing's predecessor a clean cut in the back. This knife stopped him from struggling. The old man was stunned, sighed, turned around and walked away. Yuan Deshan heard the siren of the police car and realized what he had done. He took the knife and ran away. It's just that he did something with such bad influence. How could some of the well-meaning people present let him leave so easily? They all held various tools to prevent him from leaving. Soon, he was surrounded by the police. Because he continued to ignore the warning, the police had to shoot him and knock his knife off. In this way, Yuan Deshan was quickly captured and sent to the police station. Qiao Ningxun has already calculated Yuan Deshan's fate today. He will only spend his whole life in prison. When he was about to be released from prison, he suddenly became seriously ill and died immediately. As for Ren Jingjing and her son was eventually saved by her borrowing money, and has been looking for a successor ever since. Later on, she also got married, but the people she married were not as good as the other, and her life was very miserable. Even her son's life was not easy. As for Ren Jingjing's ex, although he was stabbed twice, none of his injuries were serious. He lay in the hospital for a while and later woke up.